on Queen to Queen. Called Carbon Nation is under investigation for its extreme practices against women, which include rape and physical abuse. Let's talk about it.
I came up like one back broke. No problem, my mouth nigga, rich on froze. Trap open nigga, we never close. I mean, they said we gotta get it. I had to run some digits. I was walking down porn with them. Right. Let me ball like fire.
Say, you have this control, King.
You have this control, King.
Hi, Queens. How are you? I pray that all is well. I pray that you have received all that the Lord has had for you today. I pray that your day was full of blessings, nothing but blessings. Okay. I pray that you have accomplished all that you set to accomplish today. I pray that you did that. All right. If your eyes are not playing tricks on you, Lord, I don't know what's going on. I hate like straight parts. I'm having a real moment. Okay. I hate straight parts. Having a real moment. That's okay. Whatever. How are you? I know you just saw me. I know I just did a show. But I did tell you we were coming back at 6:30 to do our regularly programmed show. And we will be finishing up the series that we've been covering, and that is the Carbon Nation cult, the African American cult. And we will be doing that. We're going to wrap it up with his preliminary trial. The brother is in jail for rape, for imprisonment, for sexually explicit transmission electronically without the subject's consent. He is in jail, and he had his day in court to see if he was going to be bound over for trial. We're going to watch that in its entirety. So this video will be lengthy. Get you some popcorn, get you some whatever. You know, I'm not saying we're enjoying this or whatever, but I will be here for a while. Feel free to come chime in and talk. We can stop the video and talk and chime in if you wanted to. If you want me to drop the link in the chat, I will. I'll drop the link in. You can click on it. We can talk about it and then continue on. But we're going to watch how his preliminary trial, how it panned out. And we're going to watch each attorney make their case before a judge. Before we get into it, I'm going to pause for a cause. And you know the cause is support. All right. I want you guys to check this out. This is a Black-owned brother. All of his stuff is in Walmart. Check him.
We thank you for
ice cream. Woo! Ice cream.
I had the vanilla, the strawberry, the chocolate.
Pistachio. That's my go-to.
I got the blessings. They in here, okay? It's the pound cake.
Thank you so much for posting this ice cream.
Excuse me, class. I'll be back in a second.
You make my heart scream.
Hattie girl, sweet potato pie ice cream.
Hattie girl, sweet potato pie ice cream. Man, I gotta have some.
Girl bought 2 pints of that chocolate pound cake ice cream yesterday. There will be no sharing of the pints.
Hattie girl, super premium pound cake ice cream. So good, make you want to slap your mama, but don't be surprised if she slap you back.
Every man for themselves.
Hey! What's going on here?
Hattie Girl Ice Cream, coming spring 2022 to all Walmart stores in southeastern Michigan. Tastes so good, it makes you want to testify.
Makes you want to testify. I am a witness. No, that ice cream is simply delicious. Support James Render. Support Hattie Girl Ice Cream. I'm quite sure you can, if you just Google him, you can go to his website, reach out to him. I know he's not across the country yet. He will be across the country. I see that. He's a wonderful guy. His ice cream is in all of the Walmarts. Lord Jesus, I'm losing my thought. in Michigan, just about. And so we are super excited for him. Support Hattie Girl Ice Cream, simply delicious. And I foresee him just getting greater and spreading across the country. Okay, let's get into our subject matter. Carbon culture. I'm going to show you just a little bit who he is and why he's going to jail. Why he's in jail now. Just going to show you a little snippet, and then we're going to go right into the hearing. Okay.
Okay, here you go, Queen. Hold on. Take your chain out. Take your chain in. No. No.
Oh, not church. You don't look like church. Clean.
Oh, clean cut. Okay.
This is too much.
No.
Too much. You said it's too much. You're God.
I'm gonna get a jacket or a jacket.
Y'all are the chains.
Y'all the chains.
Y'all are the chains.
Listen to G, because he knows how to.
What's
He's our navigation through this world.
333.
But you follow me, and you take my commands. Never G. The 3.
Pushing 3. Pushing 3.
Always and forever loyal to the 3.
Pushing 3.
I'm the commander in chief. In and out of this motherfucker. And don't you ever forget it.
Let's put those.
Who you taking commands from?
You're not taking that.
I need a jacket also, Fufu or a wrap.
Exactly. Put him inside.
You want that?
No, I want him to carry.
You need a jacket?
I wanted to
Come on,
carry.
we going right in.
Is that wrap?
Y'all don't really need no jacket.
Look.
It's not cold.
Nah, we don't.
And y'all look. You gotta remember, we playing. There's a part.
This is practice.
Yeah.
This is practice, y'all.
We gotta get a message across to America.
This is practice, y'all.
So
yeah, talk to the people. Let them know what we're doing. Cause I'ma scare them. Let them know who you are.
No. Let her hold it. Let her hold it. Yeah, let her. Let her take all that video. Who you had taking the video?
Oh, who doing the video? Aya. She the eye.
She's the eye. Right.
Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip the motherfucker like this. And listen, let me tell you something. We in the valley of the shadow of death. And we will fear no evil. But listen, we will be humble.
Okay.
He's our angel. He's guiding us through hell.
Oh. Ain't nobody gonna stand. This reminds me of
triangles.
Okay, so clearly he is a nut. Okay, I just want to show you this. I just want to kind of get you caught up to date before we go right into showing the preliminary trial of this individual who is the leader of this cult called Carbon Nation. He is called he's called himself the God, TH2 3s lowercase God. He has traveled with a group of women and men to Hawaii, to Mexico, to Honduras, to protest the Western way of living. They're supposed to be naturalists. They're supposed to live off the land. Clearly, they were in clothes, and they were in Atlanta living in a cul-de-sac when he got arrested, when his house got raided. Okay. It is sex. The cult is sex driven. And it's with his ideology that he is a coming Christ. Okay. But in fact, what he was doing was raping these men and women. He had made a transsexual man his queen, and you can tell just looking in the video. I don't care if you're transsexual, gay, straight, or whatever. He still was a human being. You can tell that this person was scared for his life. He looked like he was scared for his life. He's been accused of rape and mentally, verbally, physically abusing these young women and not letting them leave of their own free will. So earlier in April, his house was raided, and he has been held in Decatur, Georgia, in jail. And this is his preliminary hearing. I'm gonna tell you, we watching it in its entire T. So rock with me. If you have to leave and come back, I totally understand. If you want to come up and make a comment on what you are seeing, I dropped the link in the chat. Click on the link. I will let you up and we can conversate. Okay. All right. So we're going to get right into the preliminary. I will not be stopping unless someone come in and wants a comment. We're going to try to watch it all the way through. Okay. All right.
Hearing. So this probable cause hearing is not the trial of your case. So please understand this. I am not here to determine whether you are guilty or not guilty. That's not why we're here. The purpose of this hearing is for the court to determine whether or not the state has sufficient evidence to prosecute you on the charges. If after hearing the evidence, I do determine that the state is has sufficient evidence to prosecute you, the only thing that will happen here today is that your case will be bound over to the Superior Court. Now, if after hearing the evidence, I determine that the state has not met its burden, then your charges may be modified or dismissed here today. It all depends on the evidence. So before we begin, I do want to let you know what your rights are as you continue this process. I'm fairly certain that your attorney has already done that, but I like to do it myself just to be certain. Because this is not the trial of your case, you have the right to ask for a trial. You may ask for a jury trial or you may ask for a bench trial. That's a trial by judge only. At the trial, the burden will be on the state of Georgia to prove every element of the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to challenge the state's evidence and witnesses. You have the right to introduce your own evidence and to call your own witnesses. You have the right to use the subpoena power of the state to compel witnesses to come to court and testify. You have the right to testify. You have the right to not testify. In fact, you have the right to remain silent, and the exercise of that right cannot be used against you. And you have the right to be represented by an attorney, and you are represented here by Mr. Khalil Ely today. I do want to let you know that this hearing is being recorded, so everything that is said here today will be recorded. And if you ask to speak before the court, please know if you say anything about your case, more than likely it will be used against you at a later hearing. So that's the preliminary information I want to provide to you. Let me check the lawyers before we begin. State any preliminary matters that the court needs to take up?
None from the state.
And Mr. Edie, any preliminary matters that the court needs to take up?
Nothing from the defense.
All right. So, Mr. Bishop, I am going to turn this hearing over to the lawyers. The state's going to swear in their witness. Your attorney will have an opportunity to cross-examine that witness after the state. Ms. Pasmino.
Thank you, Your Honor. Detective Panosian, can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Lower your hand. Can you please state your name and where you are employed?
Detective Monica Panosian. I work for DeKalb County Police Department under their Special Victims Unit.
And as working with the Special Victims Unit, were you assigned to a case involving Eligio Bishop?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please tell the court when you were assigned to that case?
I was assigned that case after March 30th, 2022, when the initial report was made.
I'm sorry, let me interrupt you for a second. Detective Panosian, you're a bit soft-spoken, so I'm having a difficulty hearing you. But there's also a lot of noise behind you. Your colleagues know that you're in a probable cause hearing?
Yes, ma'am. Let me remind them, though.
Thank you so much.
Hey, they can hear you on my probable cause hearing.
Ms. Pasmino, you may.
Detective Panosian, okay, you were assigned to the case against Eligio Bishop. Can you please tell me how and when you were assigned?
I was assigned by one of my sergeants. The case, I cannot remember the specific date, but it was after March 30th, 2022.
And when you were assigned to this case, what did you do?
Initially, I made contact with the victim of the case, Miss Janae Newell, who stated she would be providing us a statement if we were able to meet with her.
$1,200.
Can you tell the court, when did Janae Newell make a report to law enforcement?
She made the report on March 30th, 2022.
Okay, and what did she report to law enforcement?
She stated that she had joined a sex cult in which her boyfriend had been the leader. His name was Eligio Bishop. She stated she did not live together with Mr. Bishop at that time, and he was posting sexually explicit videos of her and him without her consent on Twitter. She stated Mr. Bishop is doing revenge porn on her because she left him, and he had posted 4 sexually explicit videos without her consent.
When she made that disclosure to law enforcement, were you able to observe these videos she was talking about?
I was able to observe 3 of the 4 videos that she stated she had seen.
And where were these videos posted to?
They were posted on Twitter.
And you said you observed 3 of the 4 videos. Can you at least describe what you observed to the court?
I observed her and Eligio Bishop having sex. That's going to be penis in penetrating the vagina.
And those were present in all of those videos that were posted to Twitter?
Yes, ma'am.
And based on Ms. Newell's statements to you, she did not consent to the posting of these videos?
Yes, ma'am.
And just to clarify, yes, ma'am, she did not consent?
Yes, ma'am, she did not consent.
Okay. Are you familiar in some way, shape, or form with Twitter?
Yes, ma'am.
And does Twitter allow sexually explicit material to be posted to their website?
They should.
They do, with limitations. This sexually explicit video cannot be essentially examples of domestic violence or have any violence in them.
Okay.
And they have to be consensual between the 2 parties or any parties involved in the video.
So it's your understanding, with the exception of those limitations, Twitter will allow people to advertise or promote sexually explicit conduct or services for such on their website?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you stated that Ms. Newell said that Mr. Bishop was doing this as revenge porn. Can you further elaborate to the court why she said that?
She stated on 3/24 she left after another incident had occurred. She stated she disconnected all contact with him and the rest of the group that lived at the location, and she believes he was doing it to taunt her.
So kind of a form of harassment for her leaving?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. After observing those videos, did you or other members of your agency speak with Ms. Newell in reference to any other incidents that occurred between her and Mr. Bishop?
Yes, ma'am. Myself and Detective Moore went to Fayetteville and spoke with Miss Newell.
And what did you learn upon speaking with her?
On 4/7/22, myself and Detective Moore spoke with her. She stated she was part of a sex cult. She stated she has been involved with this cult for 3 to 4 years and has lived with them about twice before. She stated in the early hours of 3/24/22, Mr. Bishop was upset with her because she was making a face at him and wasn't keeping what he called the tune of the group. She stated he began to
the link
order
in the
2
chat.
other
April, if
women
you want to come up, I'm inviting
Afuro
all of my viewers to come up and discuss.
to hit her.
Right now, we're watching
She
a
stated the
preliminary
women began
case
to
of the leader
smack
of
the
the
back
cult.
of her neck, and she stood up. She stated she told them to stop, and Mr. Bishop became upset. They continued and pushed her up against the wall and began to scream at her. She stated she went into the kneeling position and stopped arguing with them. She stated she told them she wanted to leave, and Mr. Bishop told her to pack her stuff. She stated she began to pack 2 suitcases, and the 2 women, Bafuro and Zoka, continued to call her name and yell at her. Another male resident had to come into the room and calm down the situation. She stated she packed her items and had to stand in front of the group that's about 14 other people that lives at the location.
14 people.
And stand in front of them and wait for her Uber to
Yes,
pick her
that's
up.
Nature Boy.
She stated while she was
She's
in
in
front of
jail.
the group, they began to tell her how it was a mistake to leave and she was evil if she was
This
to
is
leave.
his preliminary
She stated the
case.
Uber arrived and she wanted to say goodbye to Mr. Bishop. Mr. Bishop.
Detective
Yes.
Nosian, before you go on, at that point when she's trying to leave, was it your understanding from her statements that she kind of felt that she couldn't leave?
It takes a lot of courage to admit that you need.
That if she left, she was essentially being evil to the group that she had been a part of.
Okay. And now you said that before she left, she went to see Mr. Bishop. Are you aware if Mr. Bishop called for her to come see her before she left?
He did state he did tell her he wanted to see her before she left.
Okay. So at that point, does she goes and sees him?
Yes, ma'am. She stated he was upstairs. She stated when she went upstairs, Mr. Bishop pulled her into another room. He kept holding on to her and stated he did not want her to leave and to bring her stuff back inside. She stated she continued to tell him she wanted to leave, and he became irate and began to tell her that she was his property. I'm going to say excuse my language because it's going to become a little bit explicit. She stated he began to tell her how she was his bitch and she was no longer allowed to leave. She stated she began to essentially beg him to leave and began to cry. She stated Mr. Bishop then began to attempt to have sex with her. She told him no and he continued. She stated she told him no multiple times, but he continued not to listen to her, and they proceeded to have sex because she knew she wasn't going to be allowed to leave.
And while this conversation is going on, it's in a room with Mr. Bishop and Miss Newell, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And was she confined to that room and felt that she could not leave?
She stated she did not feel like she could leave and he was holding on to her.
Okay.
Say again.
While Mr. Bishop proceeded to engage in intercourse with Miss Newell, at any point did Miss Newell tell you that she told him yes, she told Mr. Bishop yes and wanted to have sex with him?
No, ma'am. She stated she said no multiple times.
Did she relay to you how she felt about Mr. Bishop, as whether she could kind of escape the situation or do anything else while that was happening, while he was proceeding to rape her?
She stated she didn't have fear that he would strike her, but he would order the other females to abuse her. She stated he had already done it that day and that she had fear for her safety.
And that's true. He's done it. I've seen the video.
Stomach feed, yeah. Well, I don't know. I can't see it.
And she did also state to you that she was crying and upset while this was occurring, correct?
Yes, ma'am, she did.
Okay. After the incident happens in that room with Mr. Bishop and Miss Newell, what did Miss Newell do?
She stated after they finished having sex, he ordered her to take a shower. She stated she had received multiple calls from the person who had actually ordered her the Uber and that she had contacted them and let them know she was going to have to sneak out and sneak away from the house. She stated she went to bed with the rest of the group and woke up in the early hours. It was only her and another person awake, and the other person was in the shower. She stated she only grabbed one of the 2 suitcases she had packed and left the location without saying anything to anyone else.
And when she left, what date was that?
She left on 3/24/2022. That's going to be March 24th.
And she made a report back on March 30th. Is that my recollection? March 30th, 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And she informed you when.
Hi, April. Hey,
I'm doing fine.
We can comment and just have a conversation about this. I said whoever wants to come up can come up. I'll stop the video and we can talk about it and then go back into the video. What is your thinking about this individual and his organization?
Well, first of all, I thought Nature Boy was actually a rapper. That's how out of touch I was.
He is a rapper. He is he does rap videos as well. There,
Oh, okay. I didn't know anything about the cult. Yeah, I didn't know anything about the cult. And once they was arrested, I binged like 18 hours watching everything I could on him. And I found it. I really thought I was watching a reality show. And I thought I was gonna be punked. Like somebody was gonna tell me you've been punked. Like I couldn't believe, like, first of all, getting past the no bathing part, I couldn't even get past that. Like they don't even take baths.
Right.
And then this girl kept leaving. She went and got another man, said she didn't want him.
Malia.
And yeah. And so now she's saying he raped her, right?
Yeah.
Right. But you left, you got another man, you went and did a video with your new man who took you from this. Again, I'm gonna say I really thought I was watching a reality show.
You know what, April? That was my initial thinking when I first saw the very first video that I came across. Shout out to Tasha K. That's how I found out about it. Shout out to King World 2020.
Video. I'm like, this can't be real. But I'm gonna mute my mic so you can talk because I know we're on a delay. If you ever noticed that, so I'm gonna mute my mic so you can talk.
No, you feel free. Go ahead. Finish your thoughts, sweetie pie.
No, it's just that we're on a delay. We're like on a 10-second delay. I don't know if anybody ever told you that, especially on this StreamYard. And it'll seem like everybody is over talking everybody. But yeah, I thought it was a reality show, and then I realized it wasn't. And I find it hard to believe, like in 2022, we have cults. But again, I have to face the reality that this really did happen, and it's unbelievable, but yet I gotta believe it. Because I watched the video where him and the ladies, they were trying to get into a club, and they wouldn't let them into the club. And then remember some girls, they ran across some girls, and it was her birthday, and he told the ladies to do something, and they like squat down and squatted back up, and the girls looked at him like, this is some weird mess. But I just, I wouldn't have never thought in 2022 that I would actually be looking at cult-like behavior in 2022. with everything that's going on in the world. I just thought we had made some progress, but it doesn't look like we've made no progress at all. Some women are still weak, and we fall in love with the wrong guys. I did it. I did it, but I quickly got the heck away from him when my son was 6 months. But what I didn't like is, you went and got with another man and you talked about him and then you went back to him. And having somebody like Megan Thee Stallion that has lied and different things, don't get me wrong, men lie, women lie, everybody lie. But a scorned woman ain't nothing to fool with.
Ain't nothing to fool with. And he has an online cult. 90,000 followers on YouTube, 25,000 followers on Instagram. In this day and age, where he's showing himself slapping women, he's showing receiving fellatio online with these women. He is spewing off this abusive rhetoric, and he's able to do this freely.
And I'm gonna tell you again, I still kept waiting on them to say you've been punked. This is a reality show, because I could never believe like this stuff was actually going on. Like, it just blows my mind that this was actually going on.
Did you see the show? Did you see the show that I did? The first episode and the second episode that I did on him?
No.
I did the carbonation call on my page 2 days ago, and then I followed up with it a day ago, and this is the last one. You have to go back and watch those two shows so that you can see a comprehensive look of his organization. I break it down from the belief system all the way to raw footage, and you have to go back and look at that. Okay, subscribe to my page if you're not already subscribed to it. That way,
I'm subscribed to your channel.
Yeah,
but what I'm finding out, like I said, I binge watched him for 18 hours straight.
Yeah, it's unreal.
And I went over. And unfortunately, these people, they didn't follow their teachings. They follow teachings of other cult leaders. And unfortunately, Nature Boy, he's dealing with a lot of trauma.
Demons.
And I know people are gonna say, you always take up for the men. No, I take up for children that was abused as kids, where nobody protected them as a child. And this is a result of them not being protected. We have to get to the root of the problem. And this type of behavior, this boy was not protected as a child. I mean, he had to go out and like pimp himself out.
Yeah.
To survive on the streets. Once you have to live that type of life and stuff, I think they get so withdrawn. I don't even think they are capable.
Time in prison. He talked about his time in one video. He talked about his time in prison that he spent time in prison. He talked about his family life and how it was traumatic,
And he had to go out and sell himself to get food, and we've heard this story time and time from a lot of kids, you know, a lot of kids. And we know everybody that's been abused don't turn into an abuser, but there are some that do. And so, and I can't wrap my head around in 2022 that we still got girls that's first of all not taking baths. I can't even get past that. Like,
yeah,
I can't even get past that. If somebody told me I couldn't take a bath, no, you crazy. I'm gonna put some soap and water.
Right.
Like, how can
and they live like that.
And they live like this. Can you imagine how they were smelling?
Like, well, you know what happened? They tried to get on a plane in Honduras and Cuba, and they told them that they almost got put off the plane because of their smell. They had to go and wash up.
Right. And so, just thought of that. I just never thought that I would see where women was not taking baths, even in third world countries. You see women taking baths with buckets, a little bit of water, but they want their bodies to be clean. And to think in 2022, like I just can't wrap my head around this. Like, girls, they were still following a man that told them being funky was okay.
But April, it's worse than that.
To let me abuse you is worse. I mean, you know, slap me. I got to share you.
April, this man has admitted to having AIDS and herpes.
Oh Lord,
it's worse than that. So, you know. But what I want to do is I want to continue on and play the case. Feel free to stay up here and commentate. You
okay, I will. So now, is this Malia's testimony? Because
no.
Did you see
young lady?
Okay, so Malia, did you see that video when she left and got with another guy?
No, I haven't. You can tag and put that link in the chat so we can see it.
Okay. But I'm gonna listen with you. I'm gonna listen.
Okay.
I'm gonna mute the mic. Okay.
All right.
Did she inform you that the videos were posted to social media again?
She actually, in the initial report, had reported that it had been posted on social media.
How many days after she left?
How many days after she left were they posted?
The videos posted, correct.
They were posted 3 days after she left.
Okay. And I forgot to ask you earlier, but what do you remember the Twitter username or handle that it was posted under?
It was posted under at Th33god_.
Okay. And so essentially at what could read as 3god_.
Yes, ma'am.
And in your investigation, was that a name that Mr. Elijah Bishop goes by or calls himself?
Yes, it is.
And in speaking with Ms. Newell, did she inform you that this was Mr. Bishop's Twitter profile or social media handle?
Yes, ma'am.
724-7638.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this.
After taking Ms. Newell's statements and observing these videos, did you end up taking out warrants against Mr. Elijah Bishop?
Yes, ma'am.
What were those warrants for?
They were for, excuse me, let me get the specific wording.
They just see if detective Captain can help you there. He's an auto detective.
While you're looking that up, let me ask you, did you take out a warrant for rape?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you take out a warrant for false imprisonment?
Yes, ma'am.
And then did you take out 3 warrants for prohibition on nude or sexually explicit electronic transmissions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to go through each one of them individually, but the warrant that you took out for rape was involving the victim, Miss Janae Newell, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you took that out due to the defendant having carnal knowledge of Miss Newell, engaging in some type of intercourse with her forcibly and against her will. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And those were based on her statements that she did not consent and felt like that he would have someone cause harm to her if this didn't happen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And looking at the false imprisonment warrant that you took out, that also involved Miss Newell, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was the false imprisonment warrant for?
Essentially for keeping her there preceding the rape.
Okay. And that was against her consent as well.
Yes, ma'am. She
And he didn't
continued
have,
to.
sorry, go on.
Sorry, she continued to state she wanted to leave.
You also took out 3 warrants for the prohibition on nude or sexually explicit electronic transmissions. 2 of them were felonies and 1 of them were misdemeanor. Is there anything you want to let the court know on what those 3 warrants actually should be?
Yes, ma'am. All 3 should be a felony warrant. Unfortunately, it was my misunderstanding and myself with the judge at the time. Essentially because they were all posted to Twitter, and that is a network that allows sexually explicit content without her consent, they should all be felony warrants.
Okay. And those were all warrants taken against Mr. Eligio Bishop based on the probable cause evidence that you received from Ms. Newell and the evidence you observed on social media, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, at this time, the state has no further, and Detective Panosian, obviously all of these, where was the incident location where the rape and false imprisonment is alleged to have occurred?
I have a question.
2993 Arbor Chase, that's in Decatur, Georgia, 30033.
And that's in DeKalb County?
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
And that is the same address also listed for the
Yes,
prohibition on
okay.
nude or sexually
You have a
explicit
question,
electronic
April?
transmissions, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Did the girl know that she was being videotaped?
This is the thing. He has said in his videos they videotape 24 hours a day.
So they knew they were being videotaped.
Yes, but the thing was, what she's trying to say is she didn't give consent for him to post it on his platform, his social media.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay. I'm muting my mic again.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's your understanding from your investigation that is where Mr. Bishop reside and lived at.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, at this time, the state has no additional questions for Detective Panosian.
Mr. Edie, cross-examination.
Appreciate it. Good morning. Please, Detective Panosian, may I get the correct spelling? I just want to make sure that I have the correct. I see it at the bottom, but just to make sure, Monica Panosian. Can you spell your last name?
P as in Peter, ANOSIAN.
Okay. All right. I just asking a few follow-up questions, just a few details that you may or may not know. So, correction that you stated that your first contact with Miss Noel, you stated that she joined a sex cult, correct?
That's what she called it, yes.
All right, that's what she called it. And may I get the statement date, the day that she gave the statement?
It was 4/7 of 2022.
Okay. So March 30th was the day that the report was made. I just want to make sure I got correct the timeline.
Yes, the initial report was made on March 30th.
All right. So I noticed you mentioned the videos on Twitter, and that they can be posted with consent and things of the nature. On the videos, were there any captions attached to the videos?
Initially, when you essentially have to look at the post, it has a caption stating that you have to click this link. It has sensitive content.
And when a video, I'm assuming when you watch the video, whether just the video, any other wording around it, meaning like hashtags or anything else associated with the video, or just the video as it is with just me and you correct right now?
I believe it was just the video. I would have to double check the actual recordings though.
Okay. You stated you watched 3 videos, but believed it to be 4, correct?
She stated there were 4, but I was only able to observe 3.
Yeah. And she told you that these videos were posted without her consent, because she believed she was leaving or he was mad?
She believed it as a form of taunting her.
Okay. And would you find it to be the same as like harassment?
Yes.
All right. You mentioned that there was.
So I'm gonna pause right here because if you watch a key thing that he said was he's trying to dilute or lessen the crime in a series of questions, which I would say is a smart attorney because they're trying to get him on rape, they're trying to get him on false imprisonment and a lot of felony charges. So he asked her, would you say this is a form of taunting or harassment? And the cop said, the lieutenant said, yes. Not a form of revenge porn, not a form of showing or doing an electronic explicit sexual act, which is a felon. So that was smart. When he got her to agree to say, would you say this is a form of harassment or taunting?
Right. And see, that's what I'm saying. Now, she said she joined the sex cult. Mm-hmm. You know, you said that you joined it, you know. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this gonna be pretty tough on what they're saying. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna play some more.
Okay.
This video, well, from your observation, were you able to determine if this was from like a phone or like a studio type setting?
I wouldn't be able to determine exactly what it was, but it appeared to me as a phone.
Were any phones ever collected as far as the search of Mr. Leo's residence?
Yes.
All right. Was those phones, as of now, according to your knowledge, have they been downloaded and went through or opened up?
From my knowledge, not yet. I believe there's a search warrant being obtained shortly for that.
Right. So other than the videos that's been on Twitter, there's no other videos that would have maybe the full video or any other thing other than what you retrieve from Twitter?
Not of my knowledge.
Right. Is this the same video that, from your research, is this the same video that was from the day that they actually had sex before she left, like the night out, from your understanding?
I do not know the date that the video had been taken. I only know the date that it was posted on Twitter.
So there's a possibility that this is another sexual encounter other than the one that is alleged here in the charges.
Yes.
You stated that at some point in this altercation that she was assaulted by other members in the cult or the group.
Yes.
Or was there any follow-up investigation on that?
Yes, we have obtained multiple videos of Mr. Bishop actually ordering either females or males to hit the same sex, not necessarily just Miss Newell, but other members within the group.
Ms. Newell precisely gave you two names that she alleged that was assaulting her on this particular day, correct?
Yes.
And was any follow-up with those two people as far as obtaining a statement to confirm if this actually was true or not?
We attempted to take a statement, but most of his members would not want to speak to us.
I noticed that in part of what you mentioned with Twitter is consent, right? Consent between the two, correct?
Yes.
And you wouldn't have no idea to know if it was actual consensual between the two because you weren't there when he had, obviously had sex. But from your experience in the videos that you watched, the videos seem to
Objection, Your Honor. This is going to call for speculation.
I haven't heard the question yet, so let me hear the question.
Do you believe, do you see any evidence in the videos that this video was not consensual between the two?
All right. So
Objection.
She's raised an objection. Mr. Edie, what's your response to the objection?
I'll reword it.
Your Honor, if that's Mr. Edie's response, I'd still object, saying that the question calls for an opinion, something that Detective Panosian would have no knowledge of in that moment. And so that is speculation, and therefore he shouldn't be even allowed to ask that question.
Edie, you want to respond?
No, I'll ask a new question.
Okay.
You stated that when you spoke to Miss Newell, correct?
Yes.
That she stated she was crying when she had the last sexual intercourse she had with Mr. Alejo, correct?
Correct.
Right. And this video in the video that was on Twitter, was there any crying in that video?
Did not appear to have any crying.
Any crying or any sorts of resisting, crying, fighting, words? No. In the particular video on Twitter.
Not in the video from Twitter.
Okay. There we go. As I move down just a little bit, I have a few more questions. You stated that on March 24th was the last intercourse that they had, and then March 30th was the report. Were there any communications to your knowledge in between the 24th and the 30th?
She stated she changed her number and had stopped all communication after she left the location.
Okay. Did you ask, or if you, to your knowledge, do Miss Newell have any social media?
She stated she had deleted hers. I do not know if she has any others now.
And the same way that you went back to retrieve Twitter, I'm assuming you sent a subpoena to Twitter, correct?
We sent a search warrant to Twitter. We are still waiting to receive that back.
Do you plan on sending a search warrant for Ms. Newell's social media?
We do not have a social media for Ms. Newell.
Okay. Let's backtrack just a little bit to March 24th. My understanding that Ms. Well stated someone ordered her Uber on the day that she wanted to leave, correct?
Yes.
All right. And you also stated that he told her to go.
Originally, yes.
Originally told her to go. I'm not too familiar with the housing, but can you describe the house? Is it a multi-story? If you can just give me a brief description of how the house is set up.
The house is a single family 2-story house.
And from your understanding of Mr. Alejo's bedroom, would that be upstairs?
From my understanding, yes, but she did not state it occurred in his bedroom.
Okay, but the entry and exit to the house would be downstairs on a base level, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you stated that once the Uber did arrive, her opportunity to leave, she decided that she wanted to say goodbye to Mr. Alejo, correct?
Correct.
All right, so Mr.
But
Alejo,
he also wanted to say goodbye to her.
right, you didn't mention that Mr. Alejo went to retrieve Miss Noel. Miss Noel went to Mr. Alejo herself, correct?
Yes.
You also stated that it was his request to say goodbye, correct?
Yes. Judge,
And
would you mind if I expanded a little bit more on that?
You're not my witness. You're
Okay.
Ms. Pasmino's witness.
Essentially, because he is the leader, his requests are more like demands.
all right, do you have any and I don't want to jump too far back into that. I was trying to stay on task, but you stated that because he's the leader. How do you have any affirmation that he's a leader of a sex? Just wanted to know.
Not only did he tell us that he is God to these people, but he has admitted he was the leader of this group, as well as has multiple social media outlets where he posts his teachings, as well as his followers being called servants and pawns.
All right, so there was a statement given by Mr. Alejo.
Yes.
And what did you learn from that statement? And let's just start. When was that statement given?
Objection, Your Honor. At this point, I'm going to the information about his statement is irrelevant to probable cause of the charges. And so at this point, I think it's just a fishing expedition.
Yeah, I think it has some probative value. I'm going to allow it. Go ahead, counsel. Overrule.
Wow.
When was the statement? When did you come into first contact with Mr. Alejo?
We spoke with Mr. Bishop on April 14th, 2022. He was brought to headquarters while executing a search warrant on his residence. Mr. Bishop was read his Miranda rights and agreed to give a statement with us. Mr. Bishop's denied raping anyone and essentially said he was a ladies' man, so he didn't have to rape anybody. He did state that they had sex that night,
yes,
but he did not see it as rape. And he said, excuse me?
You're correct. Keep on.
He stated that the film of them having sex had been consensual, of them filming it, but he continued to deny any allegations.
Did he mention any other postings, any sexual?
He stated that they post sexual content as in education.
And upon your question with Ms. Noel, did you ever ask her about the educational posting of the videos?
No, I did not ask her about the educational value of the videos.
Yeah, for Mr. Alejo's statements itself. And I'll move to the questions.
I'm sorry, you broke up in and out. What was that question?
No, that was good. I'm sorry. I was just letting you know I was done with Mr. Alejo's questions, and I have a few more questions for you, and we should be done here. I'm trying to backtrack to where I was at. Okay, so we have Miss Noel, just to bring it back. We have Miss Noel now in the upstairs with Mr. Alejo, correct?
Correct.
Right. You stated that he requested a hug.
He essentially,
yes.
He essentially requested to say goodbye.
Requested to say goodbye. And you stated in your testimony that felt she couldn't leave.
I'm sorry, you broke in and out. I wasn't able to hear the full question.
In your testimony, did you ever felt that she couldn't leave?
Mr. Edie, your audio is spotty, so not sure what's happening because I heard the same thing twice where you just half of your words went out.
Is it better to hear me this way?
I don't know. Let's try it.
Okay, I'm gonna try to hold it this way and have nothing covering the microphone.
All righty.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
All right. Your testimony today was that Ms. Noel never stated that she felt she couldn't leave, correct?
She was unable to get away from his grasp, and she felt that if she tried to leave, he would order the other followers to abuse her. So she had fear of her safety.
And that was her belief. That was her belief, correct?
Correct. And it was also her experience prior to all these other incidents.
All right. And I missed earlier, what was the history? How long has she been a member of this cult?
She stated 3 to 4 years.
Okay. And you also stated that there were other times in which she was, I guess, safe to say, in and out. Came, gone, come, gone. Come and go, come and go.
Yes, she stated she had lived with them, I believe, twice before then.
All right. I guess last two questions. Upon the search of the house, was anything other than phones confiscated?
All material that essentially could do any kind of recording, since we didn't know what the recording was taken on, as well as marijuana found, from my understanding.
And the last portion broke out from my phone when you were testifying. You stated that Miss Newell left that night, correct?
The next morning, essentially it started in the early hours of 3/24, and in the morning time around 9 a.m. was when she ended up leaving the location.
Were there people in the house during the time of the sexual intercourse on March 24?
I believe so.
Did you reach out to any of those potential witnesses or anyone who would be in the house for any statements?
We spoke to a few of his followers. Most of them did not want to give us a statement.
All right. So other than the statement you have from Ms. Newell and the statement you have from Mr. Leo, you have no other statements concerning March 24th, the sexual encounter that happened in Mr. Leo's house?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Judge, I have no further questions.
Ms. Pasmino, any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor. Detective Panosian, do you see Mr. Eligio Bishop present on this Zoom call here today?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you just please identify what he's wearing?
An orange jumpsuit and appears to be a white long sleeve under it.
And he's the individual that you secured warrants for?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And Detective Panosian, I know that the defense spent some time over Mr. Bishop supposedly making requests, and I wanted you to elaborate. It's your understanding from the inner workings of his group that his requests are seen as demands?
They're seen as orders or demands because of the fact that he is their leader, he is their God. He is seen as the person that they do anything for.
And from your investigation and your understanding of how his group works, if they did not comply with these orders or demands, would things happen to them?
Yes, he would order other members to strike the person.
And that's proof of that.
And this is something that has been observed on multiple videos with multiple of his members, correct?
Correct.
Your Honor, at this time, there's no other further questions for Detective Panosian.
Mr. Edie, any recross?
If you're a college student like me, especially.
One question. Okay, make sure the mic was on. And these videos that you obtained of these demands of I guess actual sex of violence or acts of violence, where Miss Newell precisely were detected to be in any of these videos?
Not from my knowledge right now. Most of the videos that we observed, she was not in them.
All right. And of any of the quote unquote alleged victims in that, were you able to get any statements of those alleged victims?
No, like I said, most of his followers would not get.
Assuming exit point downstairs and go all the way upstairs to meet Mr. Eligio. I think it says my phone dropped out. Okay, I'm back. To go up to meet Mr. Eligio, her alleged, assault or assaults her here, to go up to say goodbye, in which I believe nothing more came out of this situation than a last minute or last hurrah of a consensual sex belief of a goodbye after that. The only sense of confinement was a hug, and that she feared that she couldn't leave his grip or his grasp. Last, we shoot up, so I asked that there is no determination of false imprisonment, and that none of the elements was met on behalf of the state. Last, we go look up at rape in the carnal knowledge without consent. There's obviously no way to confirm or disprove that the video that was posted on Twitter is the same as the video. And obviously would be, from testimony, will be differences, that this was that. So only thing we have is a statement from Ms. Noel saying that sex did happen, and Mr. Leo, who consented that they did actually have sex, and his belief that it was consensual. She said that it wasn't consensual, no questions or anything was testified about any previous sexual, as it wouldn't make a difference. DNA, because we both know that they have sex. So here we just basically have a he say, she say, that they did previously have sex, they agreed to have sex, and another statement saying that they didn't have sex. So I feel that there's not enough evidence presented in either or nor cases that we have presented today, and that all cases should be dismissed and dismissed now, and not to be further pursued up to Superior Court and bounded over.
Ms. Palomino, argument?
Yes, Your Honor. In addressing the prohibition on nude or sexually explicit electronic transmission, we do ask the court to bind all three over as felonies, even though one of the warrant was for a misdemeanor. I think Mr. Edie is kind of misplaced when he recites the law. The law doesn't require that the videos that are posted and the content that's in the videos be of consensual nature. It requires that the person did not consent to the posting of those videos. And as long as those videos were electronically transmitted or posted.
Right, so April, let me ask you this. So this may kind of give you a little answer your question. So what they're trying to do is bring felon charges on him, not saying that even though she is making a complaint of rape, they're trying to get him on her consent and sharing the actual video on this platform that he did. Which
I get that, but. Yeah. But you were advised that you were being videotaped. So where they land at, I thought the law was, if you consent to being videotaped, you have no control over where those videotapes might land.
Now listen, here's the deal. Did she consent or did she know? She just knew she was being knowing and having consent is two different things. Right. If that person is still in fear of their life and they done got, now I'm gonna tell you, one of the girls was like, when I first got here, he whined and dined me, and did everything just started going up. You know what I'm saying? Now you trapped in this situation.
Yeah.
Now they know. Because this man, he said, I videotape 24 hours a day. So they know that they always going to be under surveillance. Now, do they consent for their stuff to be on Twitter? I don't know. I'm iffy on that. But this towards the end, so we're going to finish this out and then we'll continue our conversation.
Okay.
Whether it's a photograph or a video on some type of social media website, sharing site or web page or message board, if they were posted without the consent of the victim that's in that video, and they were posted for the purposes of harassing or taunting the individual, and it shows explicit conduct, then it's a felony. And that is probable cause for the warrant for that, and it should be bound over. You heard the testimony from Detective Panosian. Ms. Newell did not consent to the posting. This was posted after she left, and what she believes was in response to her leaving the group and potentially being taunted and harassed. We've submitted evidence about what the cult culture was like with Mr. Bishop and what he would order and demand and require his members to do when people left or disrespected him. And so based on that, there's enough probable cause for the prohibition on nude or sexually explicit electronic transmissions. And moving forward to the rape and false imprisonment, there's also enough probable cause for the warrants on these cases, and we ask that those be bind over as well. The fact that I think the defense tries to make it a big deal that Miss Newell has left over the years and come back to the cult, I'm sure this court's familiar with domestic violence relationships and how individuals will leave and go back routinely because of the hold that someone has over them, because of the threat, the fear that they have for their life. This is a situation in which Miss Newell was part of a cult and where the Mr. Bishop, who somehow self-proclaims himself as God, as the leader of this organization, orders and controls other individual members in the group. And when they didn't do what they wanted him to do, when they didn't do what he asked of them, he would order some type of physical violence toward them. So there was a culture of fear with Mr. Bishop. This is evidenced by multiple videos that Mr. Bishop himself has posted, that other members have posted, that Detective Panosium has testified that she has observed. And Ms. Newell at the end of the day said that she told Mr. Bishop no multiple times. She told him that she wanted to leave. He held her, said that she could not leave, and specifically said that she was his property and that she would not be allowed to leave, and then proceeded to rape her without her permission, engaged in intercourse with her without her permission. She essentially said no multiple times and then let it happen in a way that because she was feared for her life, she feared for her safety. The law is clear. Any type of consent that occurs due to threats, coercion, or duress is not consent at all, especially when there is fear surrounding it. So based on the testimony, based on the evidence submitted, there is enough probable cause for all of these charges to be bound over to Superior Court.
All right, thank you very much, lawyers. Based on the evidence and testimony, I am going to find that the state has met its burden. With respect to the electronic transfer of the videos, the detective testified that she saw 3 videos of the alleged victim and the defendant here engaged in sexual intercourse. And it was a surprise to me that Twitter allows such videos to be posted. But the consent with respect to the law does not belong to Twitter, it belongs to the victim. And the victim here reported to the detective that she did not give consent. And so whether or not there was.
Okay, so that's the end of that video. What's your views, April? April?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay. I feel sorry for any woman that has went through this type of abuse.
Mm-hmm.
In no shape, form, or fashion do I condone women being abused.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, these are grown women, right?
Yes.
They're
grown, but some of them, I when I look at them, I'm like, they look young. You know what I'm saying? But they were able to travel out of the country, so they had to be of age.
Right. Yeah, because they had to get passports and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so what are we doing where women are still being attracted to abusive men?
Mm-hmm.
And we all know that they start off good in the beginning. Been there, done that.
Mm-hmm.
And we know they're not going to leave until they leave. And we also know as women, we always want to be the main woman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The only one.
So me, I always look at a case through everybody's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just to keep it real with myself and everything. And we know how women do. We want to be the main one, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But when they went in that house, now she told them people she joined a sex cult.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, I don't know if it was, I know. Well, she joined the Carbon Nation. See, once you know, they don't show that. Well, here recently,
well, remember the lady said she told her that she belonged to a sex cult.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she said.
Right.
But they knew what all carbonation detailed because of the videos. And my God, I can't even believe this went on this long. I still keep thinking somebody's gonna pinch me and say that we were being punked. This was just a reality show, but it's not. So everybody knew about carbonation, knew what it was about. That's not gonna look good for them because you knew. They knew he didn't hide his behavior. He filmed his behavior. That's what I find so hard to believe. Like, I can't believe people watch this mess.
Well, you know, I think in the beginning, initially, I think this particular one has been with them. Most of them has been with them from the beginning. So once you in, I feel like you in, and it's hard to get out. You know what I'm saying? When most of his teaching, now is very explicit what he's showing because they in there now. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can see what he's about now because they're in there. But initially, if you go to his earlier posts, it was all about this natural teaching type of situation.
Oh, okay. So he did lure them with the way his teachings was.
Oh, it was about living the life and living off the land. And I got some videos where it was just, you know, they showed the beautiful green trees and the waterfall. So of course, these people live like this got to be paradise. But then when you get there, this lady said, she said, I just was looking for a change of life. She said, and they seem like nice, peaceful people. She said, when I got there, I found out they was living in tents, defecating on tree trunks, and then she was able to escape.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But if anybody joined now, it's like you said, it's out there. You know,
right?
He's showing the abuse now. Well, he's in jail now, but I'm just saying, you know,
right.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, they were showing X-rated stuff on Twitter. Like, man, I'm gonna tell you, I don't know how some of these people are going. This social media stuff has given people some courage, girl.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable.
It's the devil.
Yeah.
They do anything.
I mean, it's good and it's bad because I can go to YouTube and, you know, you got people on here that's helping you with grief. You got people, you know, giving you some good information about anything you want to do, anything you want to talk about, which is great. And that's why I find it so hard because you got a lot of women's support groups out here too, even for the younger girls.
And so that's what my purpose was initially when I started this channel, is to help women that look like me, to promote, womanhood and promote the self-esteem of women. And the reason why I show certain videos sometimes like this is to show the real truth, so that if they are following this guy, they know what the real truth is, and to put the message out there, not to be trending, not to be popular, not to get views and subscriptions. I'm trying to help women. This is not okay. This is not okay. This person is mentally ill. You know what I'm saying? Unfollow him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying. Just to put the truth out there,
Right. Right. Yeah.
And I really thank you, April, for joining me and coming up. And
it's no problem. So
wisdom.
Now, what type of sentence do you think he should get?
Oh, I think he should be behind bars for the rest of his life. This man has slapped women so hard that they dropped their babies out their hand. Beat women. You can hear it. I played the video. He went back and beat this woman. She had a child in her hand. You understand what I'm saying? He's knowingly giving people AIDS and herpes. I played a video of him admitting that. He slapped men. I watched him abuse women, a man. That's a sex crime. What he's doing is a sexual crime. How long should a domestic abuser or rapist, however long a rapist or a domestic abuser get, that's how long he should be getting.
Yeah. Do you believe that people can be redeemed?
Oh, absolutely. Let me tell you, honey, I have a family member that was in jail for 15 years for murder. And the Lord has redeemed him and restored him. He's married today with a beautiful house, a beautiful wife, and he's working. He's a productive member of society. I absolutely believe that God can. I'm a minister. I believe in redemption. I believe in redemption. God can restore anybody. He can restore anybody. And if he surrendered to God, God can restore him.
Yeah. Okay. And that's how I feel. I feel as a lot of people can be redeemed.
Everybody can be redeemed.
And see, I'm one of these that I feel like we've got to start going back to the root of problems. We've got to start going back to where it began. And most things began at home.
I agree.
And I just wish people would start acknowledging that. I mean, I grew up in the house. It was lovely. We had some hard times too, And so everything wasn't peachy keen, but we made it. But
you made it.
Right. And I just think some people need to start. We got to go back to the root. A lot of this behavior is starting at home. I mean, people that are not protected as children.
Yeah,
they turn out, they grow into adults. So, and they still have this childhood trauma. Everybody don't make it. And that's what I don't like. Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Is everybody don't make it. And so what about those that don't make it? So we say, because everybody don't do that they don't turn out to be this way, that we're just supposed to throw away the key. This boy had trauma. What was he in, a few foster homes?
He was in prison as well. Like I said before, he was in prison. He was
he grew up in foster homes, foster care. And foster care, foster homes. He used to have to go prostitute himself out to get food. The foster care system. And don't get me wrong, there's some good foster care parents, but there's some bad ones too.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Just
so
growing up in that system, you already know somewhere down the line, someone chose not to want you, or there was a tragedy where somebody had to give you up, or you were taken away from something. So that alone weighs a lot on a child's mind and psyche. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's unfortunate. It really is.
Yeah.
Because then they grow up and be monsters. You know what I'm saying? Lack of
Right.
sympathy, lack
Yeah.
of empathy. They don't feel that sense of I did something wrong. He's totally engrossed in his own ideology.
Well, and a lot of these people, like I said, I've been doing a lot of research now because I'm realizing now that we have a lot of childhood trauma
Mm-hmm.
and even the effects from slavery that's
Mm-hmm.
still going on with our people.
Mm-hmm.
And so, whoa, yeah, and it's a lot. And this month is mental health
Month. Yep. Yep. April, did I lose you? Uh-oh, did I lose her?
I want to encourage any ladies
Mm-hmm.
that are listening to this show, or even men, that it's okay if you know, are affected or are going through some bad times in your life. Where for women, we go through hormone changes, depression. Men do too. That it's okay to go seek some professional help. It's okay. And get some medicine and get back on things. Now, we can pray about everything. I pray about everything. But some things we need to just take a little step further. That's it. That's all. And you can get right back on track.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I don't know what it is with our people. We think, going to get professional help is so wrong.
Well, they think it puts a stigma on them that something is wrong.
Right. And
I
there's
want to help. So ain't nothing wrong with me. Well, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
And this is what I try to tell people.
Mm-hmm.
They be like, well, they should have got help. Well, most people that need help, they're not going to say they need help. They don't think anything's wrong with them. But yeah, just women, if you're going through the change of life, or just going through some a little bit of depression and things where your hormones are all off whack and stuff, don't worry. I mean, just go get on a little medication for a while and talk to somebody, and you can be okay. Yeah, and it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, you're still normal. You can get back to being normal.
You can get back
And
to being
that's my mental health awareness month. When I had my breast removed, I was in full blown menopause. And so I went through some dark times. And I went and did what I needed to do for me. So
oh, goodness. Well,
yeah.
I want to say you sound courageous. You sound strong, and just thank you so much for bringing your perspective to the show. I can tell that you are a fighter and that you are a promoter of women, and I appreciate you. And I'm just so grateful that you are here. And you seem proud of yourself and what you stand on. And we appreciate you and we salute you for being a survivor. We do.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And feel
Yeah.
free to frequent my channel and come on up
Okay.
anytime.
Yeah, I'm gonna share your show.
Oh,
And
thank you.
okay. All right. No problem. I want us all to make it. I don't have a jealous bone in my body.
Yeah. And if you have a channel, I want all my viewers to go over there and subscribe, like, share, get on her channel and blow it up. If you want to put your link in the chat, April, go ahead and do that. I think I might have lost her again. Let's see. I might have lost her again. I can't tell if I did or not. But I just want to say again, I'm thanking April for coming up here on the show. Thank you everybody who paid attention, who rocked with us throughout the duration of the show. This is going to be the last time I cover this group, unless I feel led or unctioned to do so. I want to say thank you so much. Thank you for riding with me. And check us out. Queen Sheila will be coming with an exclusive with Nick Cannon for Father's Day. You do not want to miss that show. Check us out. All right. Thank you again. This is your Queen Clayleen saying be great. Bye-bye.